Good afternoon. I'm Becky Albert, Senior Manager for Strategic Initiatives here at JWB. And I have a couple of employees from JWB who are going to talk with us today about the Workforce Stabilization newly revised survey. So let's start with Megan Seals. If you'd introduce yourself, please.
Sure. My name is Megan Seals. I'm the Senior Manager of Performance and Evaluation here at the Juvenile Welfare Board.
Hi, everybody. I am Daciel Medina, and I am the Senior Program Evaluator for the Evaluation Unit here at JWB.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. So the first question I want to ask before we get into a real-time example with the survey that was sent out last week is why is JWB asking providers to submit the information on the survey?
Yeah, so I can answer that question. The survey, we're asking for providers to submit the survey so we can gather information and feedback regarding the workforce stabilization funding that we put out into the community. This initiative we did was innovative and a new approach at trying to answer some of the challenges that we saw programs having in their workforce. So we'd like to evaluate it and determine, is anyone better off?
Great. And so the electronic survey, which again was recently revised and went out to organizations last week, is really meant to be more efficient for both the users completing the survey and for JWB to analyze and identify trends so that we can better support our community moving forward. Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. So now we're going to, I'll ask Daciel if he can share with us the survey that went out last week.
Yes. Let me go ahead and share that with you guys. Just let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Awesome.
Thank you. And as a reminder for organizations that received workforce stabilization dollars for more than one program. So let's say your organization has two programs that you received stabilization dollars for, then we would expect to see two separate surveys completed, one for each program. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
We want individual program.
And either way, whether you have a single program or more than one, the recommendation is that you really work internally with staff to gather the information prior to completing the survey, because you'll see that you really need to have all the information available to you before you can move forward and complete the entire survey. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, sounds good. So we start with just basic information of who is completing the form. So for the purpose of this example, I'll use my name. So first name and last name. And then it'll ask you for your email. So I'll use mine. Okay. And then we'll use JWB as the agency name. And we'll use an example program that is not real, but so we'll just use ABC schools.
Great.
Then, Becky, if you want to take it away, so we'll choose just the date that we completed it. It'll be the 9th, which is today.
Okay, and then we get to the reporting period. So the reporting period that you will be completing your first electronic version of the survey for is Q4 of fiscal year 23. So you will want to select July 1st through September 30th for that question number 7. And then we move down to number 8 that asks, what is the total JWB allocation? So for our program, ABC Schools, we're going to enter $50,000 we received for the total program from JWB. And in number 9, we're going to enter our total annual lapse. So for fiscal year 23, our program is projected to lapse $1,000. And the following question, number 10, is just asking you to provide the percentage of lapse. So $1,000 of the 50,000 allocation would put us in the 0 to 5% annual lapse. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's really the target goal for funded programs across result areas, correct?
Yes, less than 10 is our goal, and 0 is even better.
Great, thank you. So question number 11 asks, year to date, please quantify progress toward achieving your annual targeted service levels. So in other words, what is the percentage achieved overall for the fiscal year? So if we were projected to serve 100 individuals, and let's say we served 55, then that would put us into the percent of 51 to 75%. So we fall into the range of a little bit more than 50%, but less than 75 of our overall goal for targeted service levels. Then we move to question 12, and we're asking whether workforce stabilization has improved your ability to progress toward your targeted service levels. Very simple, yes or no. So maybe you added positions, or maybe you had some enhanced professional development. If that helped you increase your targeted service levels, then you would answer yes. So let's move to number 13. Select the statements that best match your organizational process for market analysis. And I'm going to turn this over to Dasael and Megan to explain a little bit more about what are we looking for.
Yeah, so I'd be happy to answer some of these or explain some of these choices. So we'll start with the first one is going to be none. So that is if you don't do any of these. Then we have the comparative analysis, which is going to be when you compare 2 or more different items to determine what is similar or different in terms of your internal and external factors, pay, wages, benefit packages, etc. Then we go into our next choice, which is industry trends. This is going to be any changes or developments that are happening within a particular field. And then lastly, we have community levels, which is population trends. So anything happening within the community, such as looking at averages in education, poverty levels, cost of living, etc. And so the last choice that we have on there is actually all of the above. In case you do all of these things, you would select that for that.
Megan, would you like to add anything?
I think that was a great summary Daciel did.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. I would think all of these market analysis would be very important to determining where we're at and how we can develop and stabilize our workforce. Number 14, for staff who left voluntarily, we are asking you to choose the statement that best aligns with the reason for leaving. So maybe it's they left your organization and for a $10,000 increase at another organization, or maybe they felt that they didn't have a work-life balance that they're looking to have. Whatever the overall option or whatever best is reflective of your organization and staff leaving, we'd like for you to select from the list below. And can you choose more than one option?
You can choose more than one option. So we give you the option of choosing as many as reasons that align with the voluntary leave. You also have the option of putting other and putting in your own reason if one of these don't satisfy or give define the description of why they left.
Good. That's important to have. Thank you.
Mhm.
So as we move to question 15, it's asking if any of the above statements were selected, how often does this occur? Megan, can you explain a little bit about this question?
Yes, so number 15 is actually related to the question regarding market analysis, which is number 13. And we're asking how often do you conduct those market analysis, like comparative analysis, industry trends, or community level analysis? And so here you would record whether it happens quarterly, biannually, or maybe another interval that your agency has chosen.
That's very helpful. Thank you for clarifying. Number 16, what is your year-to-date turnover rate? So overall, what does that look like for vacancies? For the year, are you between 0 to 25% of your staff leaving, 25 to 50%, and so forth? For number 17, the question is, what is the average length of employment for employees? So on average, how long are individuals staying at your organization? Are they staying less than a year? You would select 1 to 6 months. Are they staying up to a year? So those options are listed below for you. And again, we're looking for overall the length of stay at your organization. Number 18 asks, are you receiving applications for qualified individuals? So if you have positions that are not currently filled, are you receiving applications from individuals who have the skills to fulfill the positions that you're looking for? Yes or no? Number 19, based on your JWB approved workforce stabilization proposal. Now this here is important because again, we're saying your JWB approved workforce stabilization proposal. So this is a proposal you submitted that was approved for you to receive dollars for workforce stabilization. And we would like to hear what are some of the barriers, if any, that you experienced with what you proposed and really the reality of trying to implement some of the enhancements, if you will, at your organization. And then number 20 is asking also the opposite is, tell us about some of the successes that you have had. Has the workforce stabilization enhanced your program? Have you been able to hire for positions if that's something that you were looking to do? And our final question here on this section of the survey is asking you to list any revisions that you may have had to your original proposal. Or have there been some changes maybe that you feel you may want to implement or you have identified that would impact your intended outcome? And I'm going to ask Megan, if we approved the proposal, would we be expecting changes?
We wouldn't expect changes, but in rare circumstances, there were changes that were asked by programs that those changes still kept the original intent of the proposal that they submitted. So in those cases, they're carefully reviewed, and if the intent is still the same as what they originally were approved for, there might have been exceptions made.
Well, thank you for that, Megan. I appreciate it. So please.
One other addition is that if you identify areas that need to be changed or that you know now, we would like to learn about those as well. So it doesn't have to be an implemented change, but also a change that you've identified is needed as you've learned through this process.
Absolutely. It sounds like communication is key. And I know you've told us before, but it's very important that our providers be as specific as possible when completing these questions. And so for purposes of today, we're just providing very brief to get through the survey, but we really want as much detailed information as possible so we can assist you, your organization, and ultimately better meet the needs of children in Pinellas County. So Daciel, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I can carry us forward. I know you guys might have noticed that I left one question empty. And the reason why I left it unanswered is just to show you guys some of the capabilities of the survey. So when we click next, you see that the survey will tell you that there is a question that is required. And if you scroll down, it'll tell you what question is missing. So it'll be very specific. As you can see, it's directing me back to question 21. So I'll go ahead and put no changes and click next. And it'll take us to the next part of the survey. And for this, I'll turn it over to Megan.
Yes. So the vacancy and turnover reporting section of the survey is really capturing the information that you used to report in the Excel spreadsheets provided to you. So we decided that, as Becky said in the beginning, in order to make this more efficient for the providers and JWB, that we could simplify this and just ask a few direct questions to collect the information. So first, you're going to report on the direct program staff, as you did previously. This is going to, number 22, you're going to capture the number of staff employed on the first day of the reporting period. So let's go ahead and put 10, Daciel.
Okay.
So number 23, we're going to report the number of staff employed on the last day of the reporting period. So let's go ahead and say 9. Number 24, the number of separations during this reporting period. So let's go ahead and say 2. So separations are going to mean that the staff has left in the organization. Now you might see that on the first day we reported 10. We've had 2 separations, and then the last day we reported 9. So that means one of those separations we were able to rehire for. So the number of vacant positions on the last day would be 1. And number 26, the total number of positions on the last day of the reporting period. This is going to be the number of positions versus staff employed. So we're talking about different item here. So that would be all of the positions that you have staff in and all of the positions that you have vacant. So that would be a total of 10. Is that correct?
Okay.
So can we run through maybe a different example? If we scroll up to 22, and let's say number of staff employed on the first day of the reporting period, you have 10. And number 23, number of staff employed on the last day. Let's say, for the purpose of this exercise, 10. Now, 24 says number of separations. Let's say you have not had any separations, but let's say through the Workforce Stabilization dollars that you wanted to add 5 positions, but you have yet to fill those 5 positions. So would that then mean that for 26, the total number of positions for both filled and unfilled would be a total of 15, because you have the 10 filled, you have 5 vacant positions, and you're trying to actively recruit for those 5 positions?
Yes, I think you explained that well, Becky.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So as we move to number 27, we're going to do the exact same questions, but for a different category, which would be managerial staff. What we're asking you to do is classify direct program staff and managerial staff the same way you have been in previous reports. So if there is a manager that also is providing direct service staff, as many do, you use your organization's determination on where to put that staff in which category. So here we'll do one more exercise. Number of staff employed on the first day of the reporting period. Let's say we have 10. Number of staff employed on the last day. Let's say we've had 10 again. Number of separations during this period. Well, let's say we've had 2 staff turnover and we were also able to hire 2 more staff in that time frame. So that would account for what happened throughout the 3 months. And the number of vacant positions on the last day, we're going to say 0. And so our total number of positions, if we have 10 employees hired and we have 0 vacancies, our total is going to add up to 10.
Great, thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to Daciel to submit our survey.
Yeah, so once we submit the survey, you'll get a really nice screen that thanks you for completing it. This will come to us for review. You don't need an account in order to complete the survey. This is available for providers by just clicking the link that was emailed to them. In order to save the response, you would need an account, or you can reach out to us and we can send it to you. So by us, I mean in the evaluation, the consultants as well. So we can send that to you.
That's a very important point. So anyone can complete the survey using the link. Of course, we only want 1 survey per program, but you do not need to have a Microsoft account. So that is important, although not having a Microsoft account these days, I would expect that to be few and far between. But I also heard too that it's the program consultants as the point of contact.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and confirm that. So first line of contact should be the program consultants if you have any questions regarding the survey. But obviously we have other staff within JWB that can help as well. But think of the program consultants as the first person you should contact with any questions.
Great, thank you for that. And as a reminder, you can always reach out to any of the staff at JWB who are working with you in your program. We want to make this process as efficient and seamless as possible. Thank you to all of JWB staff who assisted with making enhancements to the way that we collect this information. I think it will be very useful moving forward in this process. And lastly, just remind us, when is the due date for this survey?
Well, that would be Friday, October 20th, 2023.
You heard it, folks. Friday, October 20th, 2023. So make sure to get together with the staff at your organization, get the information together, and submit those surveys prior to the deadline, which is again Friday, October 20th, 2023. Thank you so much. Take care and be well.
Thank you for all you do for the community.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.